Jonathan and I have, we got some ice to battle. The problem with getting down to like 38 degrees, anywhere between 32 and 38, is the sap will run. But when you're under vacuum, you get ice. So anywhere you have a leak, an ice ball will form. And I think this is something you don't really, you know, once we got sensors out in the woods, then we started to realize that when our sensors were reading 0 at the end of every main line, but things weren't frozen, we started to look for the actual ice balls in the lines. So I had an idea. Why don't you send me pictures of your sugar house? Pictures of you and your family in front of your sugar house. I've never been in two sugar houses that were alike. I think it'd be kind of cool. We'll do a montage on the channel here of all of the sugar houses of folks that you know, watch the channel. I think it'd be cool just to show the diversity, how different they are, different types of systems. So here's what I'd like you to do. Email your pictures in the subject. I want you to put Sugar House, and then the email is BissellOnYT@gmail.com. So it'll be right here. I'll stick it right here for you. BissellOnYT@gmail.com. And then we'll just collect some pictures of sugar houses and folks boiling, and we'll do a montage on the channel. I think that'd be kind of neat. So yeah, let's do that. I see Dad's avoiding the quagmire over there. So we have a new little, looks like he made a new little turnaround here. So I gotta open the dry line down to the new woods. Dad shut it off because it was just icing up so bad. Hopefully it thawed out. So yeah, we got a leak. Comes the ice coming in. Now it's 38 degrees and you can see all these little ice balls are being made by vacuum. It's like an ice machine. So my son Jonathan wants to go see the new Batman again. He said it's that good. My son usually doesn't really talk about movies unless they really impress them, so I guess tonight I'm going to see Batman with John Boy. Back up the hill. I don't think this camera does this hill justice. I mean, I think you can tell if the trees they grow straight up and down. Kind of gives you an idea. But yeah, this is a pretty good hill here. So this is why sap's not running. Everything's iced up. Here's a Dave Bissell Squirrel Chew fix. Right there. Sometimes you gotta use duct tape. So, help you with your bearings a little bit. The sugar house is over there. There's an underground line that's buried that goes all the way over this hill right here, down the ravine, and that's where the pump house is. Now, from where this mule sits, over there is what we call the new sugar bush. So, this wet dry line here, that dark blue one, That's the dry line right there. That's the dry line. That goes all the way to the new sugar bush. That's the wet line. What we call it right there is the wet line, which is the sap transfer line. So both of those are connected to the electric releaser, and they run 1,300 feet, and it runs all the way up at an angle, so there's slight slope. This ravine is much deeper than the other ravine. And the reason that we're able to use vacuum is, once you get the sap up, it creates a siphon. So we're literally using vacuum to drain the tank at the new sugar bush. So we're gonna go over to the new sugar bush. So this ravine here, much lower. I cannot wait to cut these cottonwoods up. Dad's got a little cottonwood forest over here. I cannot wait to turn this cottonwood into lumber. It's gonna be awesome. We're gonna head over to the new sugar bush, but I think I'm gonna take a detour and grab Austin. You coming?
Yeah.
Did you grab the bag of O-rings?
No, where are they?
In the sugar house.
All froze up yet?
Yeah, it's all frozen up. Hold this for you.
I stopped at Beaumont looking at a releaser, and even with all those lines open, there's nothing coming into the releaser.
Everything's frozen. So Austin's gonna grab the main line tool. So we got some wood to shim the tank up, our beautiful tank. We got tools. So we're gonna tighten some things up. Let me turn this off. This is not a good sound, Austin.
Something is sucking pretty hard.
So every time, this is the problem with mechanical releasers. This is full of ice. Oh, it's right down. Hold on, let's show everybody what happens. So, what happens is, right there, right on the flapper. See if I can get a good shot. The ice is solid ice. Alright. So
You're leaking somewhere else, too.
a lot of people don't know this, but there's two flappers inside. There's a flapper on the bottom, and there's actually a flapper on the inside lip of this guy. But this thing's leaking somewhere.
Oh.
What happened?
Okay, we ran into this before and thought we'd fix it.
Alright, let's get this out. I can see you got ice in here.
So what's up with that wreak? This is just a regular nut.
Yep.
Every time it moves back and forth, you wiggle that nut just a little.
Okay.
So slowly it backs off, and then instead of sitting up tight like that,
Yep.
you sit way out like this.
Oh, I see it.
Alright, so this piece pivots right here to swap cylinders back and forth. And it's held in with one bolt, and this is just a regular nut back here. It
Gotcha.
should be like a nylock nut, but
Yeah.
it's not. So every time it pivots, you wiggle that nut a little bit back and forth.
Gotcha.
So eventually that gets loose, and instead of sitting tight like that, it kind of sits out.
Are you
like
saying that nut's not nylon?
No, it's not.
It's not nylon threaded?
It's regular.
Oh, that's not going to work.
We ran into this earlier and thought we had fixed it, but
Why don't you take that little piece of metal off the back?
that was a
Try to
Dean
fix it.
special. A makeshift washer.
Let's see that.
It worked for a while.
You know what we're going to do later is...
Go to the hardware store and get a nylock.
Yeah. You don't want to go too tight. It does need to pivot.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, still pivots freely, but tight enough, not getting that big leak. Well, that's probably not helping.
What's that?
Having that leak there probably was not helping.
No. We need to clean this. Like, this literally needs to be taken apart. This needs to be cleaned. Like...
Do you think?
Yeah, see how it's not switching? Something's up here.
Got
Ice and mechanical releasers, Austin. They just don't mix well. Kind of like you and Charlie.
I got no problem with Charlie. Charlie has some problems with me.
Charlie has a problem with anyone not named Bissell. Is there a number on that?
On what, the
bolt. Like, is it a number? In metric, they just have a
Something.
number. It's probably the hardness,
Yeah,
not the size.
Yeah. I was thinking if I can get...
You want to tighten it up more?
No, not necessarily. I just want to...
What we should absolutely do is clean it up and make it work right. Like, take it apart, clean the thing up.
Not a bad day for it. We're on frozen.
Yeah. Boy, there she comes.
That's a 7/16.
It's in metric.
Then it's 11.
That makes sense. So
Either 11 millimeter or 7/16. Either one.
you know what we'll do? We'll buy a 12 and a
12,
10.
11, and a 10.
So here comes the slush. Now that we got vacuum on this system. This is ice. This is we're just at the worst temperature for making sap. 38, no sun.
38 might be a little warm.
So there's just an O-ring in here. This guy's just sitting on here.
Oh, hey. That O-ring's got to be froze in there because it's not supposed
There's two of them.
Yeah, I know, but neither one of them came out that hard before.
This is solid. Solid ice.
That's Fred. I better see what's up. Hey. Not too bad, you?
Okay, this piece of PVC on top that's in this glass, or the clear plexiglass, is moving on its own. Like, it should be seated, and it's moving, which tells me that either the glue is let loose, something. This is definitely supposed to pivot, but it's supposed to pivot right here on the O-ring. So inside here, there's a piece with an O-ring on each side, and that is where it rotates. The fact that this is rotating on here, something's wrong. So this is gonna need glued, I'll bet. So you got vacuum leak here. You got vacuum leak anywhere this white plastic material where things are supposed to slide. If those aren't cleaned and then re-greased, then they'll hang up. This is just a leaky little releaser. It's like working its way around. What the frick? Yeah, we got to do something about that. It probably has what to do with this thing moving too. Is it this? What did you just squeeze?
I'm pushing against the...
I got leaks here too.
Yeah.
Maybe this needs greased. But I see all sorts of bubbly in there.
You might need to...
See it right through the plastic. You can see it right through the plastic. It's just going to create ice. No bones about it. You can create ice at 38 degrees under vacuum. Well, that's what we like to see.
Well, we're getting somewhere.
Watch this. Move these back and forth a little bit. So sometimes they freeze right there. And that's where the ice is. So once you close it and open it, you get that ball worked out. It's a sappy slush. A sap slushy.
See that?
You know, the sugar's antifreeze. I don't think people realize that.
Hey, do you see the... See right under that?
Okay.
How it's all... The ice is stacked up?
Okay.
It almost looks like that's frozen to the side of the releaser. I wonder if you have either a leak here or on this threaded fitting.
It can happen. Yeah, I'll bet you. One of the things we can do is put a little lick dab on that threaded fitting.
Mm-hmm. Might help.
We need a... Is there a 2x4 over there that's as wide as this tank? There you go. And then we need to prop up that. So you got to find a Y stick. You know what a Y stick is?
Oh yeah.
Maple farmer's best friend. You just need to prop this guy up a little bit. Just helps with your slope. This is interesting, isn't it? How many guys have had this happen? And I'm willing to bet the flapper on the other side can't close. Let me see if it's running. Oh yeah. She's running.
Nice.
You see that?
Yeah.
Sap's running, buddy. Sap is running. So yeah, there's ice in the lines. It's definitely ice in the lines. But the vacuum will pull that sap through. That's running pretty good, actually. You see that?
Yeah.
Well, that's fun. There's a party in this releaser. The ice on a mechanical releaser. Watch the sap just come flowing in. So the inside flappers have to seal.
Yeah. And that one's sealing fine.
Yeah. This tells me there must be a lot of ice in there.
In that canister.
Is there?
I couldn't see very much. I wonder what.
Do you want to go get the grease? A wet rag?
Yeah, sure. What are we going to do on that elbow? Are we going to glue it? Keep it from rotating?
I'm going to find out if it's supposed to be glued or not, but I think it is.
I'll run up and get the grease.
Yeah, get the grease. I'll take the 2 wrenches and start tightening this guy.
Bag. I'll be back in here. Hey, I'm leaving your tripod up here so it doesn't rattle out of it.
Sure. Look at you with the shop towels.
Got shop towels, regular rags, and warm water.
We'll clean her up. I think what's happening is every time that thing switches sides, it's just ratcheting that elbow away.
So eventually that piece of tubing pulls on it.
Yep.
Pulls it away. Yeah.
So
right.
I'm thinking that definitely needs glued, but what do I know? Coming in pretty good though.
Yeah, and you're not getting in from the dry line anymore. It's all coming out the wet line. That's good.
So one of the nice things about a wet dry line is when your wet line freezes up and sap starts flowing from the trees, your dry line, as you can see, this sucker here is full of sap. Until this thing empties out and everything thaws out, your dry line will actually carry sap for production into your releaser, which is kind of nice. And then once things thaw out, you're back to normal. But at least you don't lose production with a single, with your single main line. So we're about to clean this up. We got to do a minor repair on the releaser. For those that have mechanical releasers, they know the game. Every time there's a freeze up, there's some glue that actually broke free. So this is actually supposed to be tight, and because it can move freely, it just ratchets itself all the way over, and then this hose gets too short, and then the hose starts pulling this away, and then you just get a whole game. It's just a whole game. So I'm going to put this back. What I really want to show you is it's really coming in nicely. Some maple farmer ingenuity right here. Every maple farmer knows what I'm talking about. The old Y stick trick. You walk around till you find the one you need, because I'm just every year having to find a Y stick to make sure my slope is the right slope coming down. You got lunch in that bag?
No. Well, I mean, how hungry are you?
Well, we got the pieces and parts.
Yeah.
Got the
Hopefully
glue.
I was wrong. Yeah. Hopefully I was wrong when I measured that nut because they said they didn't have an 11, but they had a 10 and they had a 12.
Oh, let's see what happens. Look at that thing backing up. Look at that. You ever wonder why it does that? She's full, buddy.
Why does it do that? Can it just not keep up?
No, I think the flappers get stuck. It's weird, isn't it? It's just
Flapper must have been stuck there with sap.
the vacuum in the tubing is greater than what's coming from the. It tells me that we may have lost vacuum. Actually, it tells me that every one of these trees becomes a little vacuum canister, and if you lose vacuum, the system will pull pull the flappers. So if you lose vacuum anywhere on the system, it's still 26 in this tubing. So what'll happen is this vacuum here will pull the flappers closed until it equalizes and then drops. It's a mighty fine Y stick you got there, Austin. Look at that. That's a beaut. So we'll take the thing off. Use your little no sucket.
I like it. That's a good name.
We should take the bolt off.
Yeah,
And then we're going to use your plan. We're going to take that right off the pivot. Clean it up good. Let's go with that.
We might as well take the other bolt right out. The one that we got to replace that nut.
Yeah.
Pull it right off so we can clean those skid pads good.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Alright, you ready to go for it?
I am.
Let's do it.
So what Austin and I are doing is we are cleaning the surface that this unit needs to ride on. So you can add grease if the cows come home, but if you don't clean it first and really remove any residual, you're just spinning your tires. So Austin's cleaning these. I call them slide skids. I don't know. What do you call them? Slider things?
Skid pad.
Skid pad. Who knows? White thingies, plastic slides on. I'm sure there's a name. So those little holes, they're goobered up. So we're gonna have to get in there and clean it up with a piece of wire. I got a piece of wire for you. We'll get that stuff right out of there.
Perfect.
That Dow Corning, that's good stuff.
That molly coat.
Yeah, which one is it? Molly Coat 111, buddy. Use it for the reverse osmosis. This is a food grade
About everything
grease.
in production.
Yeah. Food grade grease, and we're going to re-grease this guy. Austin, she's running, buddy. Of course, this is not a fair representation. When you shut the releaser off for a little bit.
Yeah, and it all builds up.
Yeah.
And oh wow, it's coming in.
It's really
so
coming in though. It's cool.
Here's the valve that used to be on the tank that Garrett and I couldn't find because it was half on the snow.
So our glue joint there seems to be holding strong. Austin and I cleaned every one of these, cleaned the surface of every one of those slides, put everything back together with clean new grease. Should have been done before the season, but we'll get it after the maple season, Austin.
What?
I said we'll get it after the maple season.
Whatever it is, we're gonna forget about it.
Yeah. You all right? Heaven forbid we forget to put our Y stick back in place. Let's see what we got here. Oh yeah. Check my angles. Uh-huh. That's a heck of a Y stick, buddy. So the releaser's running smoothly, operating as it should be. There's no air leaks. The sap is running. Look at it run out of this spile. Sap's running good.